Hello, 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 hello. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. Hello. Hi. Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Good afternoon, and thank you so much for joining. Hi, hi, hi. We'll be starting shortly. Thank you so much. I'm just waiting for my colleagues to come in. Thank you. Hi, everyone. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for coming. Just waiting for others to come in. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Maskati, Mangwanani, wherever you are, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching from. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so I'm going to introduce myself while I wait for my colleagues. So my name is Patricia Chinyoka and a presenter on Change Radio. It's really good to be back on here. We haven't been on here for a couple of weeks now, I think, because we've been busy focusing on fundraising for the by-elections that have been happening since this morning. But we felt that it would be great for us to come here on a live to hear your take so far. So we just want to have a chat, a discussion. We want to hear from you, our viewers. We want to hear your thoughts on by-elections 2022 as we watch this historic moment for the Citizens Coalition for Change, the CCC political movement, first participation in the electoral process in Zimbabwe. So we are so delighted, we are so excited. And today is not about me talking, today is about all of us. And we just want to hear you. I can see comments already coming in here. So let me just go there to read. Please, we want your comments. So today is about your comments. What's your take so far on what you are seeing and hearing from Zimbabwe? And I am going to be sharing a perspective, and my colleagues are also going to come and share a perspective. So, yes, hello, everybody. Everybody who's saying hi, greetings to everyone. Hi, how has been the day everywhere? So, Livingston, this is what we want to find out. So, the day in Zimbabwe has been a bit mixed. So, that's what we want to talk about the day today in Zimbabwe. Thank you so much. And Norman is saying, ndiripo ndiri kuda nyaya dzacho. Tese nhasi tiri kuda nyaya. Ndoyandainga pano kuti uyai titaure. And thank you for those watching from Johannesburg. So Stephen there, Clive Ledge watching from Pretoria. Thank you. Maxwell there saying hi. We love you. We love you too. Thank you so much to everybody for coming in. So for all those that are joining, this afternoon is really talking about the by-elections and what we have witnessed happening in Zimbabwe so far. But we also want to hear your take, and so please, if you can post your comments, I will flag the comments on the screen, and I will also be reading your comments. But so far, what we have seen happening in Zimbabwe from 7 o'clock, in fact, what we have seen happening in Zimbabwe from last night is that there were a few anomalies. So you know that there were 2,000 polling stations, and the CC movement has had polling agents at all of those polling stations. So that's really a big well done to the CC movement for managing to cover all of the polling stations in the country with polling agents. But there were some anomalies. So last night, what the CC movement had done was to ask some of the polling agents to go and man the polling stations overnight to ensure that the regime was not going to try and rig, because you know what the regime do, they stuff ballots. And one of the things that the CCC movement wanted to make sure was that that didn't happen by having their polling agents stationed, particularly at those stations which were of high risk. Unfortunately, those polling agents were turned away by the police, and so that's suspect because they shouldn't have turned them away. And what we also noticed is that some polling stations are being manned by the police, and we think that is unacceptable. The police shouldn't have to man any polling stations. I live in the diaspora. We are going to the polls here in the diaspora on the 5th of May. There is no police. There is no one. You walk in, you cast your ballot. It only takes a minute and you are out. There's so much freedom and security, but that's not what we are seeing in Zimbabwe. There are quite a lot of alarming things already so far with the electoral process. But I think that, we have to celebrate the fact that the CCC were able to field candidates across all of the country, across all of the vacancies that were in the country. So we are so delighted about that. But we know that the day is not over yet. The polling will finish at 7 o'clock, and I think that the counting is going to start from there. And again, this is another area that we are watching out for, or that the CCC are watching out for, to ensure that they can mitigate any illegality where the regime might try to stuff the ballots or to try and rig. And so I'm just waiting for some of my colleagues to come. But what can I see here? I've got Victor saying I'm watching from Joburg. Thank you. Ndou from Pretoria. Eddie from Somalia. Oh my gosh. Hi, Eddie from Somalia. That's really, really amazing. I wonder which part of Somalia we're in. And we got Theophilus, who is, oh my gosh, that's difficult to pronounce. I'll try. Oli Fontaine. I wonder, is that in South Africa, Theophilus, where you are watching in from? I've got Nelson from Polokwane. Hi. How's Polokwane? I love Polokwane. I've been to that part of the world. It's a nice little place. Adolf is saying, today is the yellow election day. Reminds me of the constitutional referendum just after the formation of the original MDC. Oh, yes, Adolf. So we're just waiting for the results. I think that's what we are going to be waiting for. And the hope and prayer for Zimbabwe is that the CCC win the majority of those seats. Emmanuel, it says, Bella, Samuel, hi, watching from Durban, waiting for outcome. Yes, Samuel, we are all waiting for the outcome. That's why we've come here to hear your views and your thoughts about the elections. Eddie, polling agents need to be equipped with all necessary tools. 100 meters, we need extra people to see if polling agents are harassed. Protecting the vote is key. So what we've already seen, Eddie, is that there's already been some anomalies with regard to polling agents. So there was a polling agent that was assaulted. We also know that in Mavuku, a police officer was assaulted by ZANU-PF thugs. And I think this is to intimidate and to deter people from voting. So there's quite a few things that have already happened, a few anomalies that have already happened so far. But, the CCC have done all they can to defend the vote. They have polling agents at all polling stations. They've been going around, driving around, just to make sure that we can defend that vote. Hi, Batty, watching from Cape Town. Lillian from Durban. Adala Wegonyeti from Cape Town. Innocent from Lusaka. Hi, how's Lusaka? Mulibwanji Lusaka uko Mlishani. I don't know which language you speak. Do you speak Bemba? Do you speak Nyanja? Mulishani, Mulibwino, how's Lusaka? Is it hot? Oh, Eddie says Somalia, Mogadishu. It's wonderful to have you here. Simbarashe watching from Harare, Sisi. Woye, Sisi, woye. Woye. Wonderful. Desmos watching from Botswana. Thank you. Again, someone else, Chamnorwa from Botswana. Tafazwa from Durban. Lillian, hi, sister. Leah, Trikuda, Jishinu, Apo. Okay, do you mean Jishinu as in the election outcome, or Jishinu as in what we are discussing? So this here today is really, I want to hear your take so far. I mean, I've got things that I'm sharing about what we've already witnessed, but Change Radio would like to hear your views. We want to hear your take so far as well. I just want to acknowledge everyone that is here. I think that's important. Stephen says they're in Witbank, Mpumulanga, with you all the way. Thank you, Mangwana. Do we get the results tonight watching from the UK? Oh, Mangwenya, that's what we are waiting for. You know, in the UK, you know what happens in the UK? The results start trickling in around midnight. So we don't know what's going to happen in Zimbabwe. And the UK is much more advanced in their electoral processes. So we're just going to wait and see what happens. We might start getting results around midnight because the polls close at 7 o'clock. Hi, Leroy. John Tapeza Navo. Hevo Yellow watching from Beira. Hi, how's Beira? Oh my gosh, I know Beira suffered a couple of years ago when you had that horrible storm. So I hope you all recovered there in Beira. Leah is in Cape Town. Licious Leroy from Botswana. Oh, there's quite a few people from Botswana. Fantastic. Amin from UK. Sizabuntu, Cape Town. Amy Maputo. Hi. God bless Zimbabwe from Lillian. Yes, watching from Gaborone. There's quite a large number of people. Mabel, watching you from Gwerin Nkoba, Kwa Amos Chibaya. Oh my gosh, Mabel, tell us. You must write and tell us how things went in Koba, because Honorable Amos Chibaya was standing today for his seat that he was recalled from in the old world of the NDC Alliance. So please, Mabel, tell us more. How was it? Did you go to the polls? What did you see? What did you witness? What can you tell us, Mabel? We really want to hear from you. Do share. We would like to share it with the world. And Crispin is watching from Zambia, and Takuzwa is watching from Cosmos City. So thank you so much to all of those. Beloved is Dumela watching from South Africa. So thank you so much. So already I can see that there are viewers that are in areas where we had candidates. So for example, Mabel is watching from Gwerin Mkoba, and Honorable Amos Chibaya was standing for his seat in Mkoba. So we want to hear, please, if you can just type and tell us. South Africa 2023, Year of the Citizens. Yes, it is. Watching in all day South Africa. And no rest, kokumusha kwangu kuzumba. Kune my agents, Eduo here. CC, please, I am here in Vereeniging in South Africa. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Yes, there were agents everywhere. And I was hoping to phone some of the agents, but I wanted to do that once my colleagues were here. So if you can bear with me, I'm just going to see if my colleagues are going to turn up to this, because it's important that we can talk to some of the agents. Yeah, so I'm trying to contact people. If you can bear with me. Thank you so much. I'm just asking where my colleagues are. So watching from Botswana. Oh, I'm so delighted about Botswana. There's quite a lot of Zimbabweans in Botswana. I hope you are all well in Botswana, and that you're being looked after, and that you're doing well in Botswana. So, there's a lot of Zimbabweans. I think one of the things to mention as to why elections are really important, and also why it's important that we have a new government in Zimbabwe, is that there are a lot of us Zimbabweans who've had to leave our country to come into the diaspora to work, so we can provide for our families, so we can make sure that our families are going to school that we are taking care of our families when they fall ill, that, we're just doing the basics, getting them food and making sure that, they have somewhere to sleep that's safe. And so there's a lot of people here that are watching from the diaspora. So we have a lot of Zimbabweans in South Africa, and I've seen a high number of Zimbabweans in Botswana as well. We've got some in Somalia, and in the UK, in the United States. They're just scattered all over the world. And one of the reasons why we are all scattered is because our own country has failed to live up to its promises. So the current regime, when they came into power in 1980, we were all excited because we thought, colonialism and white rule had ended, and that we were now going to progress the country as Black Zimbabweans. And we're all excited. So many of you might be much younger, but I was a bit older in the early 80s, and I was so excited about independence. We danced, we were so excited. And what was so disappointing was that within 8 years of independence, things had already broken down. Bukrahundi had happened, and the country just went downhill from there. And so fast forward to year 2000 was a time when the majority of Zimbabweans left the country because everything had completely broken down. The infrastructure had gone, families were struggling, there were no jobs. We became aware of the corruption. The current government siphoning money out of the country and pocketing it for themselves. And that has led us to where we are. The economy completely crashed. In the early 80s, when I was much younger, the industry. So for those that might be around my age, that were born maybe in the 60s or 70s, will know that Bulawayo was the manufacturing hub, and by the early 90s that had completely crashed. The whole of the industry around the country had collapsed because it was mismanaged by the regime. And that drove many of us in the 2000s to leave Zimbabwe. And what we want to see is we want a new government. And so, therefore, today is critically important. It is just not critically important for the CCC to win seats, but it is also a precursor to what is going to happen in 2023. And by that, I mean the ZEC processes. We have seen how they've behaved so far, some of the illegal things that they have done, the rigging shenanigans that the regime are already beginning to do, the partisan police and army, the captured institutions in Zimbabwe. We've already seen it happen now. So it gives the CCC a working tool, something to work towards for 2023, so that they can put measures in place to mitigate some of the things that we've already seen. And I think that one of those big things is around polling agents, but also having to challenge some of the ways in which things have been done by ZEC, who should be impartial, but they are not, by the police and the army that are sent out to go and man polling agents when they shouldn't. They should be serving the citizens, the people of Zimbabwe, but they don't, and they are partisan. So I can see that my colleague Babs is here, so I'm just going to wait for her to come into the studio, but I will stop talking for a bit and just answer some of the questions. So I'd already answered no rest to say yes, wherever there's a polling station, we have polling agents. Thank you for those watching from Botswana. Amin Cedar High School mate. There were no elections in Uzumba, no, but in Murewa they were. So Murewa South, I've got the list. Murewa South, we've got polling agents. So in Marsh East, there were some areas there where they were polling stations, and all of those are being manned. We've got polling agents. And kikiki msadaro hama trukuda shanduko. Shanduko ndio trukunyasoda. That's why we've come here to hear your views. Sadza uchi here uyu. Okay, Samuel, don't really know what you mean there. Briscoe watching from Mount Pleasant in Harare. Hi, Briscoe, did you go to vote? So for all of those that are in Zimbabwe, tell us if you voted. please type in there and tell us. We want to hear. Watching from Rustenburg, hello there. Watching from Australia, hi. Down under, patience. I wonder what time it is over there. Sebastian, I hope my word to Chinoya winner, but in my rural area, Kazengerere are damaged, but I think CC can fix after 2023. Yes, and you know, these by-elections are, you know, as I'm repeating myself now, are a tool for us to learn from, so we can see where the CCC need to fix things. Watching from South Africa, Simba, thank you. Chirumanzi, Mapiravana, Sisi, Muriko Ere. Sadza is the name of a growth area in Chivu. Thank you, Renika. Mazvona akatanyanya kugara mudiaspora taakutokanganwa geography yenyika yedu. Brian, afternoon sis, watching you from Cape Town. Thank you so much. Watching you from Port Elizabeth, Mutraki yangu pamadha. Well, hi Gilbert. So you're busy working. Well done. I hope you get some rest there. Freedom ngapinde hake mkomana chokwadi ngapinde. And then Andrew says, how far are we from an electronic vote in Zimbabwe? Oh my goodness, Andrew, that is a really good question. It's a big question. I think we're so far away. If we can't afford to ensure that everyone has an ID, and so, you know, the young people who are turning 18 years old, the majority are not registered to vote. And that's another rigging machination. And so that's what the regime does. And so it's made it very difficult for people to get IDs, for people to get birth certificates. And so if people don't have IDs and birth certificates, it means that they can't vote. And so electronic vote, I think we're so far away. And one of the concerns is that if we have an electronic vote, who is going to man it? If we see now with this process that is happening now, that ZEC are already fidgeting and doing illegal processes, what about an electronic vote that would be in their control? I mean, the regime would just outrightly rig and win 100%. And so I think that would be quite difficult. I think we need a new government in place. We need the CCC to be in power so that they can implement some of these processes and make sure that it's fair for all political parties when we come to the voting. Because it is the people that choose the leadership that they want. And if the leaders are not living up to the expectations of the people, then they must go. And the regime have not lived up to the expectations of the Zimbabwean people. They have let them down over the last 42 years. Not only have they let down the people of Zimbabwe, but they have rigged their way in power. The current regime does not have the mandate of the people. What is power? Power is people. The people give the politicians the power. How do they do that? Through these electoral processes. And so they vote them in power on the understanding that when they get into power, they will do what they have promised to do for the people. So there's a trust element here. And I know recently that the CCC were talking about a social contract. The Citizens Coalition for Change has a social contract with the people. This is a movement for the people, by the people. And so there's consultation between the people and the leadership because they recognize that they can only be in power if they are given it by the people. And so therefore, there is this contract that once they get into that power, they will deliver what they have promised for the people of Zimbabwe. I think that's really important to understand that. Sebastian Nyahuma, I love Sisi Chinoi. That's Anna. Hi, Sisi Anna. How are you? Farai, watching from Greece. How far my hometown, Chipinge? We're just waiting to hear. So elections are in some areas. They're not in all areas. But, you know, I was talking to one of your councillors from Chipinge this morning. ZEC needs to be disbanded, very definitely. It needs to be disbanded. Thanks, my sister. Let's fight to win 2023. I'm just going to go back and see where my colleagues are. They are, I think they were struggling to get into the studio. So I'm just encouraging them to come back again so that they can share. So please do share more. Do share more of your views and perspectives. I think we want to hear from people that voted. That's really important that we can hear from people that voted today, just to tell us how it went, because that's really important for us to hear what's going on the ground. But I also just wanted to share, for those that have just joined now, that one of the things that's been disappointing so far is that we have already seen some anomalies from last night, where some of the polling agents for the CCC were turned away from polling stations. They had hoped to go and camp there, stay overnight, to ensure that the regime were not stuffing in pre-marked ballot papers, because we have seen today that some people were arriving at polling stations with papers already, with ballot papers in their hands. Not only that, but we've been getting intelligence and seeing videos of people being bussed to go and vote. So people being bussed around in combis to go and vote in different polling stations, because it's very difficult. I guess the process is not as robust, because if the process was robust, those opportunities wouldn't be possible. For example, in the diaspora in the UK, you can't bus people from one polling station to the next. But it's possible in Zimbabwe to do that, because people are very corrupt there. What we also saw is the illegal delimitation process. And so this is where polling stations were closed. And so people are arriving at polling stations to vote. And so an example is in Popoma Ward 9, voters failed to vote because when they arrived there, that polling station had been moved to Nketa. And so if your polling card says Popoma and you arrive at Nketa, you can't vote because you'll be turned away. So those are some of the rigging antiques that the regime have been using. We also saw some assaults happen. So polling agents assaulted, a police officer was assaulted in Mavuku by ZANU PF, thugs. And so, all of these things are just pointing to the fact that the regime are intimidating, the regime are running scared, that they fear that they will lose these seats. And so in order to protect their position, they will use the army power, they will use the right police power, they will use the gun power, and all of these are unacceptable. So we are watching it, we are watching to see what the results will look like. So there we go. My colleague is here, so hopefully she will be able to give us her perspective. Hi, Babs, can you speak?
Hi, Pet. How are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, Zimbabwe, from wherever you are. Ndingabe litshona njani umthwakazi omuhle emagumbini amane wonke omhlaba. Yes, sesiphendukile njalo ku-Change Radio sililethela okwenzakalayo phela by-election yanamhlanje 26 March 2022. Sibuya lapha ukuthi lisitshele ukuthi bekusenzakalani lapho ebelikhona. Yebo, sithola imbiko etshiyeneyo lapho ukuthi kulezinto ebezenzakala, abantu bahambile bezama ukuyavota bathola amabizo abo engekho. Okuyizinto ezidanisayo kakhulu. Abanye bathole ukubana umuntu oyabe ebhalise emganwini uthola ukuthi ibizo lakhe lisempophoma. Okuyizinto ezidanisayo. Abantu abaningi badanile kakhulu, Patricia, ukwenza kwezek, izek. Hayi, izek idanisa abantu kakhulu. And into ejabulisayo ukuthi izinto zonke lezo abantu bayenelise ukuthi bazivumbulule. Ngakho izek isicaywe egcekeni, sokusalele thina ukuthi sibone ukuthi izakhi leyi sizayenzani, Patricia. We are talking about ZEC here, Patricia. You were saying ZEC, the shenanigans of ZEC were exposed all over the country, and would like to commend our comms department, Fadzai Mahere and Ostalos, Gift Siziva, who worked so well in informing us, making us aware of all these ZEC shenanigans. And we saw Fadzai Mahere holding a presser, talking to journalists, telling them what the CCC has discovered so far. They had compiled a report of all these shenanigans, which I think, Patricia, is a good move, so that when we complain, at least we'll be having evidence of what ZEC is doing. You know, zvatiratidza pachena kuti ZEC iri partisan. ZEC belongs to ZANU-PF. That's a fact, Patricia. ZEC belongs to ZANU-PF, and we can't have an independent in courts, an independent board which is not independent. ZEC is told what to do by ZANU-PF. Remember, Patricia, ZANU-PF is in government not by popular demand, but by hook and crook. They stole elections in 2018. Mnangagwa did not win the election. So now they're seeing the CCC is vibrant. They know kuti by-elections are CCC ichawina by-election, vanotozviziva. So they are trying by all means kuti vaite chitsotsi chese. I've also noticed that there are other areas where people were being told to write their names. Check the pictures of where they voted for, and in preparation of maybe receiving food handouts, which is very, very wrong. And I also saw ZEC coming up with a statement which was saying people should not take photos of their ballot papers, but at the same time ZANU-PF was saying people should take photos. You see, ZEC is trying by all means to pretend as if they are independent, yet they are not. So these are the things that we have so far witnessed ZEC doing. ZEC is not independent at all, and ZEC must be disbanded. Zvinhu zvinorwadza spirit izvozvo kuti my-elections they are supposed to be free and fair. They were never free and fair from the time Citizens Coalition for Change was campaigning. It was never level. The ground was never level. CCC never had freedom to campaign, but ZANU-PF and Douglas Party, they campaigned willy-nilly, and they had no problems, you know. So this is the situation that is there on the ground, which is very unfortunate. But at the end of it all, victory shall prevail. The good shall prevail over the evil. And when God's time has come, no one will stop it. The reason why all these shenanigans are being exposed is because God is in it. God's time has finally came, and people are ready to defend their votes, Patricia. Even us in the diaspora, we've not been sleeping. We've been awake 36 hours now in solidarity with our polling agents. Tinorara sei polling agents achirara akarinda mabox. Nesuwo tanga tichitorinda mabox. Tiri kuno hatisi kurara. Ukaona uchirara pakadai unenge wakagarika. Dzinouya here hope dzacho? Hadziuyi.
That's so true. Are you still on?
Yeah, you can continue.
Yeah, no, I just wanted you to tell the people the Twitter space where you are on, and for how many nights it's been going on that Twitter space that you started to talk about. Kuti hamuna kurara, vana havana kurara, nezo ndakarara foni iri on, ndichiti pepu, ndichimbobatwa nehope ndichirara. So to all our viewers, there's a Twitter space that's on, Diaspora Affairs. Let me actually post it in here, Diaspora Affairs, so people can join that Twitter space, because we are going there after this, at CCC Diaspora Affairs.
Yes,
Twitter space.
yes, Patricia. The Twitter space is on. It has been on since Wednesday. It was Thursday,
Yeah, since Thursday. Yeah.
and today is our third day.
Yes.
Non-stop. This
Pungwe.
Twitter, Pungwe, tiri kuita mapungwe. You know the mood that is there. People are raring to go. As it is now, I'm logged into 2 gadgets. The Twitter
Yeah.
space is on as it is now. You can't, Patricia, you can't resist the unit that is there amongst the diasporans. Kungobuda so kunotoona kuti varasikirwa. Right now, we're raising funds na Daddy Hope. Hope it's his birthday. Happy birthday, Daddy Hope. And we were fundraising. He came to our space. He told us what was happening on the ground. And we raised the money through Daddy Hope. Now, this 1 hour, we are dedicating songs to Daddy Hope. 1 hour tichiridza ngoma in celebration of Daddy Hope's birthday. But ngoma dzacho hadzisi kuridzwa mahara. We are paying for these songs kuti dziridzwe. So it's actually interesting, but at the same time fundraising for the people back home. We in the diaspora, we have to play our part. If you are watching now and you are in the diaspora and you haven't done anything towards these elections or towards the CCC, please inbox, come to us. We will show you where we are going. We are moving. The train is moving. Don't be left behind. The mood is high. People are really raring to go, Patricia. Nasi, kunenge chinenge chakashaya. Tomorrow we'll be having a celebration rally tomorrow at 7 p.m. Zimbabwean time. We'll be having a celebration rally because we know we are going to win. So we'll be celebrating on Twitter space at 7 p.m. Our leaders are going to come. VP Bitu is going to be there. VP Kore is going to be there. Matbabai Shanduku is going to be there. And another guest that we are not going to mention today, but it's gonna be lit on that space. So please, hook on, be part of this shanduko. Usangoti shanduko, iwe usina kushanduka. Let's build the Zimbabwe that we want. We are almost there. This is a test run. President Chamisa said, kuti, must step the by-election, must step Mchato Uruya 2023. President Chamisa also said, kuti chero tikawana 2 MPs, chero tikawana 3, kwatiri it's a celebration because we don't have MPs, we don't have councillors.
Amen.
But we know that we are going to get all our seats, we are going to get them back because the people are going to vote for their leaders who were recalled by Douglas Monzora and ZANU-PF.
Yes, and you're so right. We just can't wait for those celebrations. Just participating, just the movement, CC movement, participating. This is historic. Just in case people don't understand the significance of what's happening here. The CC movement was formed on the 24th of January, 2022. And, I reflect on His Excellency, the rightful President of Zimbabwe, change champion in chief, Advocate Nelson Chamisa, to pull it off. 24th of January. It's a month. 24th of January. It's 2 months. 24th of January. to 26th of March to participate in an electoral process and to field candidates across all of the vacancies is a miracle. But sometimes we don't reflect on these things. We don't see the significance of these things. And this is a movement that has no budget. And so we were not given any money through the Finance Act. We know that the MGCT were given over $1 million US. And so that money we know is being used to bribe, to try and buy people. But, God is in it with the CCC movement. And for the change champion in chief, President Nelson Chamisa, to participate in the politics, 2 months of forming a political movement is in itself a big achievement, I think. And the people of Zimbabwe have responded resoundingly. The yellow rallies that happened in the last few weeks were so massively attended. People went of their own volition. They went voluntarily and they were walking. They were not given money. They were not given transport. They were not given food. They were not given tea. They were not given anything because they are tired of 42 years of enslavement by the regime. And they responded to the call to action by President Chamisa. And here we are today waiting on the results of this by-elections outcome. And as Sisi Babs said, even if we have three, do you know what? I like President Chamisa. He's so pragmatic. He's so down to earth. There's a reality about him. He says we will celebrate even if we have three, because we don't have any. So we will have three people in parliament representing the needs of Zimbabweans and starting the work that we are going to continue in 2023. So I think that we just need to applaud the president for this amazing work that he has done to make sure that people have participated today. And we are going to be up all night. It's going to be another Pungwe. I've tried sleeping in the afternoon, but I could not sleep. And I know that Leader Babs, you've not slept at all.
And Pet, you know what? Kana kumbunzwa hope is like I thought today I was going to spend the rest of the day sleeping, but alas, I'm still up, and I'm raring to go. Today we are also going to do a punge where we'll be waiting for the results to be counted. We'll be counting our results, even if we did not go home to vote, but we are there. We are part of the process. We are not going to sleep. Hanzi kurara hope rogare. Kurara
No,
hope rogare.
That's so true. Tinorara say, I just want to hear the first win, and then we can celebrate. We want to hear that first win so that we can have representation in parliament. It's so important for us to have that representation in parliament. And we've seen the shenanigans of the regime already with some of the things that they've tried to do. But God is faithful. And we have a leader who believes in God. And I think it's so important. We're a Christian country. There are people that don't believe in God. That's fine. Everyone is entitled to their beliefs. But we stand in that gap, and we believe in what our president believes in. It's people that believe in God, and that God will deliver something for the movement tonight. And we can't wait for that. We just can't wait to celebrate. So it's going to be another Pungwe. And we are inviting all of you, our viewers. The other thing, Sis Babs, today we've got a lot of people in Botswana, a lot of Zimbabweans that are in Botswana. We've got people from Australia here. We've got a gentleman in Somalia that's on here. There's a lot of people that are watching from the diaspora. And I was saying one of the reasons why we are all in the diaspora is because we had to leave our country because we could no longer sustain ourselves and our families. So we came out to look for work to be able to support that. And if we had the choice, we want to go home, we want to go home. Kwenda kumusha, ndakagara pamusha pangu nehuku dzangu nembudzi dzangu, ndichibika pamoto wangu. It's just so beautiful to be able to do those things in my country. But we're not able to do that now. We have to be working 24/7 to send money back home, Kumusha, to sustain our families. Maretning Tashanda Yuyu is helping to sustain Zimbabwe. And the money that is in Zimbabwe that should be sustaining and creating employment and all of that, the regime are digging it in, putting it in their long pockets, siphoning it out of the country and enriching them. And what we are saying is, at Chada Taneta, no more, we no longer want that. We want change in Zimbabwe. And that change is starting tonight. Isn't that exciting? I think it's so exciting. I'm so excited. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to invite you, all our viewers, wherever you are from around the world, please join the Twitter space at ccc_diaspora. Even if you're not on Twitter, you can join on your iPad, you can join on your laptop. But if you want to talk, if you want to ask questions and to participate, you have to join from your phone device. That is the only way that you can participate. But if you just want to listen in, you can use any other device. Come to that Twitter space. Come and be with us. Come and stay overnight. Come and do this pungwe with us and watch as we celebrate our first representative who's going to represent us in the local areas, in our local councils, and also who's going to represent us in Parliament. So please do come along. And then tomorrow, join the celebration of the by-elections outcome. Again, we will be on Twitter at CC Diaspora tomorrow, 27 March, 7 p.m. Zim time, isn't it, Sissy Babs? It's Zim time. Come and be part
Yes,
of the Sanduko.
yes, it's Zim time. In fact, all those people that you said are watching from Botswana, Somalia, please, can they get in touch? We now want to build a formidable diaspora community. And we all know that CCC is a new party. Before we were CCC, we were MDC Alliance, and we know what happened to MDC Alliance. Everything was taken. Our money was taken. Our harvest house was taken. Our MPs, councillors were taken. So we are starting afresh, and we are saying, we as the diaspora community, the CCC diaspora community, we are going to fund the party. Tisa Nacho, we don't want to rely on donors because the donors will tell you what to do. They will tell you what they want. But if we fund the party, Isusu Waridziwacho, we will build our party, Isusu Wenewacho. So we are saying, come, let's reason together and let's build our party. Let's fund our party. You know, it's pointless for us to enjoy the greatness of other countries where we are living, Patricia, forgetting our Zimbabwe. You know, it's nice where we are, but you know, there's that feeling of not belonging. You can't really belong 100% because you know you don't belong where you are. Home is where your heart is, and home is the best. So our hearts are in Zimbabwe. This is why we are saying we are going to fund this party, and we want as many people as possible. We are going to gather on these social media platforms. We are going to form a big group, like maybe say on Telegram, where we are going to be interacting and funding the party. We are going to leave no stone unturned, Patricia. We are going to devise ways that will make CCC a brand. Because when something is a brand, Patricia, it has to be intact. You can't say we are a brand with Namari. That's why you see. That's why you see when Adidas, when Nike, when Achidura, those brands, they're expensive because they are brands. So you can't say Nelson Chamisa is our brand. The party that he leads has got no money. No, it has to match. It has to match. We have to be fully resourced. We are in a struggle. We will never go back to the bush to fight, to hold guns. We are fighting. Our guns are the social media. Back home, the guns is the ballot paper and the pen. Yeah? So those two are the ones that we will fight with in Zimbabwe. And us in the diaspora, we will fight in the air. We will fight in the air. So, and our war must be won. You can't win a war when you are not well resourced. So we are going to oil this revolution. We are going to oil it. And even the people in Zimbabwe, you know what, Ted? Anzi umfula ugcwaliswa yizifudlana indebele bathi umfula ugcwaliswa yizifudlana, meaning ukuthi urwizi runozadzwa netunzwizi tuduku. And it, so what those people in Zimbabwe, they have also a role to play. Kuti the liquid that they have, they also have to oil. Even the liberation struggle, I'll give an example, Patricia. Kuti the liberation struggle, it was oiled by people that were in the diaspora, and our mothers and fathers who back home. How did they fund the struggle? Ndiwo waipa nyama dzemombe, huku. And remember kuti the soldiers magorira magandanga, as they were known, vanga vasingadyi bora, vanga vasingadyi derere, vaiti vanodya nyama. But where was this meat coming from? From our fathers, from our mothers.
Yeah.
So back home, if you are not in CC structures, how can you help the CCC? You can help the CCC by donating.
Yeah.
Anything, everything is going to be put in place. There's going to be a WhatsApp number, an EcoCash number that people will be donating, so that this CCC party grows.
Yes, thank you so much for that, and you are so right. The citizens have to fund it. They have to fund the movement, because we are all stakeholders in Zimbabwe. We all want to see change, and just as little as $1, just as little as whatever RTGS. If 1 million people give 10 RTGS, how much is that? It's a lot of money. I've also put on the banner here, donate to defend elections. People can click into that. You can write that down, and then you can go and support and help to fund the elections. There's just so much need. We're preparing for 2023. Today has happened. We're just waiting for the polls will be closing in about 24 minutes. And you know what I wanted to share with you, Sis Babs, when you were talking, I got a phone call from a young girl in Rua. Her polling station was Windsor School. She went to Windsor School to vote. She found the gates closed, and the guards told her that there was no polling station, that nothing happened. She then asked where the next polling station was. She walked to the next polling station. She arrived there and she was told that it was closed, nothing happened. And this is Rua. We're talking about Rua, where two polling stations were closed without the people being notified. So this young lady was voting for the first time. She's never voted. She was so excited to go and vote, and she's been deprived of her right to vote. I've got the V11 of, so I wanted to, of this young girl. She just sent me messages and she was talking to me on WhatsApp to say, I've gone around everywhere in Rua. All the places that were meant to be polling stations were all closed in Rua. And so it means that all of those people have not voted that were meant to vote at those polling stations, because they can't go to the next place, which would be Mavuku or Tafara. They don't live there. On their sleep, it told them what their polling station was. So this is unacceptable. But what we are hoping for tonight is that we will have some representatives for parliament and for local authorities, whatever that looks like, because we need that representation. The shenanigans of the regime cannot continue. We need to tackle it head on. And one of the ways that we can tackle that is by citizens donating, because we need money. We need more agents at polling stations. So, where we might have two or three, maybe we need 10 per polling station. Maybe that's what we need to have for 2023. But in order for the CCC to achieve that, they need money. And there is a link there. If you type that in, viewers, you'll be able to go and donate as little as £5. You can donate as little as £5. I think you can even go even lower if you change the amount there on coffee. So thank you so much for that. We are going to be finishing at 5 o'clock so that we can go and jump on. And I know that maybe Sis Babs is listening to two things at the same time. But I'm just going to read some comments. There's been quite a lot of comments. I think it's important that we read some. So, I'm not going to read comments that are inappropriate. It's a very important day for Zimbabwe today, and we want to focus on the positive. So, for that individual that is writing inappropriate comments about Honorable VPBT, I think you really ought to be ashamed of yourself. Zimbabwe is not in the right place today. And what we want is we want a positive outcome today for Zimbabwe. We want representation that cares for the people, that want to create the change that we all want. For all of us in the diaspora, it's hard work. We are working all the time. We want to go back home and rest. And not only do we want to go back home and rest, we want to go back home and rebuild our country. We want to leave it in a better place for our children, our grandchildren, and for many more that will come after us. We can hear you, Sis Babs. So Levson says it's Eastern Cape. Simon is saying Sisi Mutare. Yes, Mutare, Danga Mvura there. We had a candidate. So, I've not heard anyone tell me that they voted. So it would have been nice for people to tell us. Levison says ZEC must be disbanded if we are to be serious about our country. I think we just need the regime out. That's the answer. I think we all know that the regime will not create any change that will remove them from power. They will not make policies or change policies that will remove them from power. They will consolidate their power by capturing every state institution. And we have seen that already. ZEC is captured, is partisan, it works to the demands of the regime, to the demands of ZANU-PF. The police are captured. They send out riot police to assault. A few weeks ago, we saw what happened to Mazbaba, Eshanduko. He was assaulted. But the Kwekwe rally, we lost Mboneni Ncube. So that was really sad. He left a wife whom he just recently married, and she was due to have been presented to him to her new home on the 16th of March, and he died before he welcomed his new wife. He'd lost his first wife during COVID. He has an 18-year-old child. So that is so sad. And so those are some of the things that the regime will do to intimidate, to harass, and to deter any progress. And so they will not disband ZEC, but I think we need a new government that can come in and that can ensure that all of these state institutions are working impartially. We need a police service that supports the citizens or that serves. But the police we have is a police force that works again to the demands of the regime. So they don't work to serve the people of Zimbabwe. The army is captured. We saw what they did on the 1st of August 2018 when they went onto the streets and murdered 6 innocent individuals in broad daylight. No one has ever been arrested. No one has been brought to justice. January 2019, 12th to 24th January, we saw the army again go out and slaughter 17 people who were peacefully protesting against the fuel price increases. And then the other thing that came out of that January 2019 incident was that 50 women came forward and said they'd been raped And we know culturally that not everybody will talk about those ordeals. So we think that the women who were raped could have been in their hundreds. And those 50 women who were raped did not want their names known. And so you can imagine how traumatized they are. So we are saying enough is enough. The regime must go. Going back to the comments, Mu Wengani says hakurarwi nasi tinobirwa. Nasi hatirare tikuita pungwe. Aiswa nezuro hatina kurara. Taingoti tichimboti tikambobatwa nehope tomuka futi. We were on the CC Diaspora Twitter space that we've invited all of you to come and join us. Shorty says Sebastian Nyauma wants to go and contest for 2023's MP Hurungwe covering Kazangarare area. So, okay, Sebastian, all the best to you. Are you on the ground in Zimbabwe? Where are you? Where are you based? Because if you want to run, you really need to be on the ground and to start the work now so that the people can see what you can deliver for them. Because this is about delivering for the people. It's not about having a position. It's about you being an MP. Being a representative of the people is not a power game. It's servant leadership. You are elected by the people to represent the people's needs and to deliver for the people. It's not the other way around. You know, this thing that we see in Zimbabwe, the chef, and my chef. I don't call anyone chef because I just think that is another form of enslavement on the African people. If you live in the diaspora in the UK, your MP works for you, your councillor works to you, because if they don't, you just vote them out. So, you know, our by-elections also are coming up on the 5th of May here in the UK. And if my councillor hasn't done what I expected them to do, I either just don't bother with going to vote because I'm thinking you haven't done anything for me. But if they've done things for me, I'm the first in line to vote because I want them to come back and do more work for me. So it's about representing the people. So if you want to run for office, it's servant leadership. You are there to serve. You're not there to go and get money, get a car, and live a high life. It's the opposite of all of that. Again, Sebastian says he became a councillor. I become a councillor. Let's go and develop our area. That's it. It's about developing the area, working with the people, developing the area. Ernest says, Leader Barbara and your team, how are you? We are well. Thank you. Thank you so much for that compliment. We can only do what we do because we have you, our viewers, to come and engage with the content, engage with the messaging. So we thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it. We wouldn't have a radio if you didn't come and engage with us. Fortune and Stiripano, thank you. Blessing, we are tired, we need change. We're all tired. We all want to go back home. But, you know, how can we go back home? We go back home, there's no pension. So, you know, you're struggling. At least when you're in the diaspora, when you retire, there's a little bit of money that you can live on. But there's nothing like that back home. Old people, elderly are hustling. Simbi Soranga, thank you for the broadcast, Sister Patricia and Change Radio. Please keep us informed. Aluta Continua, Victoria Aseta, CCC, Zekwatch. Yes, Zekwatch. We need to be on the Zekwatch because they are so corrupt and partisan. Gapind Hakem Komana, no retreat, no surrender. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Ranga. And Simbarashi is saying CCC is going to win this by 98%, and this is just the beginning of New Zimbabwe. I say Chamisa Oye. Thank you, Chamisa Oye. Thank you so much. Tinashe says CCC. Oni says CCC. Beulah, very true, sister. We all want to be home. We pray for CC to win 2023. God help us. If you know, for those that have joined just now, maybe you're not part of the broadcast. I was talking about how wonderful it is to be back home. You know, during Christmas time, and then, you know, you've got your chickens running around, you know, you've got your goats running around. Yeah, you are surrounded by green. You are eating your vegetables. You are eating mananga, chibage. You know, it's just wonderful. So for those that might not understand Shona, I'm saying for us Zimbabweans, we have a second home. So, you know, we have our village home where we go Christmas time, holiday time, and we eat organic food. So, here there's a big thing about organic food. So we eat organic vegetables. Well, with our chickens running around and roaming, our goats. It's so super amazing. And, it's a wonderful lifestyle to have. I never used to appreciate it when I was much younger, when my parents would say, we want you to go home, and to spend some time with grandma and grandpa, I'd get so upset because I wanted to be in town, watching TV and drinking unhealthy drinks like Fanta. When you go home, you don't always get that Fanta. Life is much healthier. But now that I've grown older, oh my gosh, you tell me go kumusha, I'll break my legs running because I now understand and value what it means to have a second home. That land is so important. And, we all long to go back to that lifestyle. And you only understand it when you live in the diaspora. You understand what you have, what a good life you might have in your own home country. Because here, yes, people buy homes, people have, it's each to their own, I guess. Some people love it here, they want to stay here, they want to die here, they want to be buried here, and others want to go back home. So, just talking about home and the benefits for some of us that want to go. And hello, Patricia and Barbara. How are you? We are well. Thank you very much. It's a long time when I last saw you. I know. We need to do more of this. We've been on Twitter Spaces a lot. I wish you a new promised land, King of the Sky, ego mentality. Thank you so, so much for that. GDCTSV. I can't really pronounce that name, but thank you so much. Yes, we want the new promised land. It starts tonight for us. General, how are you, sister? Thank you very, very well. I hope you are well too. Admire, well, I can't really speak Ndebele, but I'm going to try. Namhla ave zanu, uh, vavethwe yisizu. Okay, I don't know what it means, but I've sort of tried to read it. Admire. So thank you for those comments. And Tendai, we are tired with this regime. CC chete chete. And that's what we want to see tonight. So for all of those that are able to keep watching, please keep watching tonight. We will be on Twitter Spaces tonight, all night, Pungwe, waiting to hear the first results so we can celebrate. And I was really delighted when my co-host Barbara said that the change champion in chief, His Excellency President Nelson Chamisa, said, even if we get 3 representatives, councillors, MPs elected, we will rejoice and be glad. We will thank God. We will praise God. Because what we want is a new movement that was born 2 months ago to have representation. This is significant. And I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself, but I'm overly excited that it was formed on the 24th of January. For 8 weeks later, on the 26th of March, we are participating in the electoral process. That is quite powerful in itself. And we have done it with the money that has come from the citizens because we had no budget. We didn't get any money from the Finance Act. The regime, ZANU PF, they divided it amongst themselves with MDCT. Do you know what? We leave them to it. We are for this for the citizens. The citizens will fund this movement. Wellington says, Sis Patricia Taneta Nezek, let's keep praying. We keep praying. So we had a prayer the other day. The president called for a national day of prayer, and people prayed all day and all night. This morning, the CCC, UK Island province, prayed this morning for the by-elections to go well. So we were praying this morning at 5 o'clock in the morning, which is 5 a.m. UK time. We're praying this morning and asking God to protect the candidates, the election, the polling agents, to protect all the CC leadership, to protect the whole electoral process. So we were praying this morning. And on the CC Diaspora Twitter Spaces handle, they were also praying. They started praying from 4 o'clock in the morning. God has been so amazing. God has been wonderful. This whole by-elections and how people have prayed for it have been led by God. It's really has been led by the Spirit of God. Because when CC Diaspora started to pray, it was impromptu. They actually hadn't planned it. It was impromptu. And that's what happens when God is in it, when things are led by the Spirit of God. People just pray impromptu. And for the CCC UK and Ireland province prayer, that too was impromptu. People just thought, tomorrow morning, let's get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, let's pray. And we got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. We hadn't slept really. We just continued dozing on and off, and we were back on it, praying and crying out to our God, who is a good God, to our God who hears, to our God who watches, and to our God who's going to give us the victory. I feel like going into another prayer again. So maybe as we end, I'm going to end this. The last couple of minutes, we're going to end it praying. So if there's anyone that wants to send in a prayer for us, please just send a prayer and then I can read that prayer. Admire. Admire is laughing at me. Ndebele yakurembera isister ki, but zvaonekwa manje kuti vanhu vamuka ngapinde ake mukomana. Yes, and I want to learn how to speak Ndebele, because I think it's important that we can be more bilingual in our country. There's a lady who teaches Ndebele here, but I've got other colleagues. Sissy Babs, she speaks Ndebele. I just need to find the time, at least to have conversational Ndebele. I think it's important if we can do that, so that when we have our audience coming in and they say things, that at least the least we can do is understand it, because we often get criticized for speaking Shona all the time. Hence why I speak English, and people say you're too formal. So I get people saying, Patricia, you're too formal. And I say, well, I guess I speak the universal language, to be fair to everybody, because we have more than one language in Zimbabwe, and I can't speak the other languages. So if I speak in English, I know that everybody across Zimbabwe, across the world, can hear what I'm saying. And if I do speak in Shona, I will interpret that Shona so that people can understand it. So thank you. We are coming to the end of our time, and I want to thank you so much. Tendai says we are tired with this regime. CC Chete, thank you so much. Tandeka says, what time are they realizing result tonight? We're not so sure what time, but we are hoping that maybe around midnight that we might start to hear the results. I don't know how they're going to announce it. Zimbabwe is very bureaucratic. ZEC is very bureaucratic. The regime is very bureaucratic. And what they will say is that they don't want anyone to announce the results before they have officially announced the result. So we know what happened the last time. When people tried to announce the results, and they were arrested, and then there was that whole delay around the results as well. And Haniso says we have to protect our vote. Yes, and so we've had polling agents across all of the polling stations, and so we are hoping that we have done, I guess, as much as the CC could have done. Tandeka says we will go to streets if results come out somehow. So some of the things that I've been sharing earlier as I close is that we already saw some anomalies from last night. We already saw the regime start their shenanigans of trying to rig. And some of those anomalies were the illegal delimitation processes. And so in Rua, I had a young lady who was voting for the first time. She was so excited. And she went to Windsor, Old Windsor School, for those that live in Rua, if you know Rua. So Windsor School was a polling station. She arrived, it was locked, and she was told by the guards that no one turned up. They then told her to go to the nearest polling station. She went to the nearest, then second polling station, and she was told that no one turned up. So ZEC didn't turn up. Nobody turned up. That was closed. So it means this young lady, plus hundreds of other voters, didn't get to vote in Rua today. So that's how the regime are rigging. That is a rigging tactic that they have used. And they've done that around the country. They've moved polling stations. And so in Blawayo Mpopoma Ward 9, voters failed to vote because the polling station was moved to Nketa, and they hadn't registered to vote in Nketa. So their voting slip would have had Mpopoma. And so it means that they didn't get to vote. And so we're talking maybe of thousands of potential voters that didn't cast their vote today and they missed out on their constitutional right. We also heard that the regime were busing people to go and vote. So in Kwekwe, they were busing people to go and vote. In Epworth, people were being bussed around, voting from polling station to polling station. And you know, the opposition are powerless. They have no guns. They can do the best that they can, but the regime have tried to get in the way. We also heard about assaults and intimidation, polling agents assaulted. In Mavuku, a police officer was seriously assaulted by ZANU PF thugs. Even though they've done all of these things, the CCC are still going to win some seats. So we are going to be Pungwe for some of us, just waiting to see the results as they are announced. So as I leave, I want to just show that, and I'll give it a few seconds for people to take a screenshot. Please screenshot that and join us tonight on that Twitter space at @CCC_diaspora to hear what other citizens in the diaspora are doing to raise funds for elections 2023. So there's been over the last nearly 3 days of dedicated diaspora people. This includes doctors, teachers, professionals that have not slept, that have been on the Twitter spaces, raising thousands of US dollars to go towards these by-elections, because there was a budget of 160,000 US dollars that was needed. So if you are able, please come and join us on that Twitter space. I'm just adding Sissy Barb so that she can do her closing remarks. So please take a screenshot and come and join us there. And tomorrow, again, we are going to be on the Twitter space. Please join the celebration of the by-elections outcomes. We will be on at CCC_diaspora, 7 p.m. Zim time. We will have Honorable VPBT there, Honorable Vice President Lynette Karenyi Kore, she will be there. Come and be part of the Shanduko. Come and celebrate with the CCC as we celebrate the representatives that are going to become our councillors and that are also going to become our MPs. And so, Sissy Babs, I might have slept on the job there. I didn't add you on time. Did you want to say your closing remarks?
Yes, and also before I do my closing remarks, Madzibaba Shanduko will also be there, Patricia. So, panenge pachibhira, can you pin the Ndebele, that Ndebele comment so that we don't want to leave no one behind?
Oh, okay, then let me find it.
Yes. So we will be having Matsibaba Eshanduko. You know what? I saw a tweet by Matsibaba Eshanduko and he was shocked, Patricia, to say, Kuti, you guys, you all put my profile. You was so, it was so touching. You guys, thank you so much. I didn't realize every one of you, you've got my picture as your profile. You know, he was so appreciative. Everyone on the Twitter space, they put Madzibaba's picture, the one where he was brutalized by these terrorists. Anzi namhla avezanu vaphethwe izisu. Anzi nasi vanhu vezanu waita mudumu.
Okay. I try to read it, but I'll say I need to learn. I need to learn the way. Yeah.
Yes, this is coming from Admire Msipa. Thank you so much, Admire. Yes, baphethwe izisu abantu bezanu. Yes, sesifikile emaphathelweni ohlelo lwethu lapha kade sixoxisana ngama-by-elections ayenzakala namhlanje eZimbabwe 26 March ya 2022. Ama-by-elections la abuya ngemva kwama-MPs nama-councillors awe-MDC Alliance arecallwa nguDouglas Monzora esithi MDC Alliance kayiso party, kodwa siyamangala yena kathesi usengena futhi kuma-by-elections eyi-MDC Alliance. Patricia, I've never seen such madness. This is totally madness. They recalled MDC Alliance MPs and councillors saying MDC is not a party, and now they are contesting the by-elections with the same name. They are now MDC Alliance. So if we tell people that Douglas is a project, ZANU PF, today he's gonna believe that people know that he is a ZANU PF project. People know what they want. People know their leaders. People want change. And the change will not gonna come through courts. The change will be brought by the people. Yes, siyabonga Mahlabezulu, umthwakazo omuhle. Bengihamba lo sisi wami lapha uPatricia Chinyoka uthi ufuna ukufundisa indebele. Asimfundiseni. Patricia was saying ukuthi in the new Zimbabwe, CCC should make it compulsory for everyone to schools to learn Ndebele. If Shona, Ndebele and Shona should be learned in every school, and even these minor languages, you should strive where they are being spoken. People should be taught their own languages. Like for instance, in Plumtree, there's no reason why the children of the people in Plumtree should learn Ndebele and not learn Kalanga. I once taught in Plumtree, and we were teaching Ndebele instead of Kalanga. That's very unfair. That's very unfair. People tend to forget their identity. Take, for instance, the people from the Changanese, vachidzidziswa Chikaranga, and how about their language? Their children also need to learn their language. Tonga as well. In as much as they are going to learn their first language should be also taught in schools, so that the children, they grow up knowing their identity, because we are one. We are one. Yes. I think as of today, Pet, we are done. We are going back to our space.
Yes. Yes.
We are going back to our space. People should come in their numbers. We are still fundraising for the election, because after by-elections we have the general elections, so we want to make sure that everything is in order.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to say thank you so much to my co-host Barbara. Thank you so much for taking the time to come here. We were missing our audience on Facebook Live, and we wanted to come and say hello and to say we are here. We have been very busy being part of the teams that have been fundraising on Twitter. So we've been working really hard over the last couple of weeks. But there's so many opportunities for everybody to get involved in supporting the fundraisers. There's much more that people can do. You can share this information, you can share this live, you can come to Twitter spaces, you can cascade messages, you can encourage your own family members to register to vote for 2023. And what I said, earlier is that what the experience of today have given the CCC a template to work from. So what they will do is take away everything that they've experienced here today and use the insights that they've gained from today's by-elections to put an action plan together that will help them mitigate some of the challenges that we have faced. We all have recognized that every institution in Zimbabwe is captured. So ZEC is captured, is partisan, the police, the judiciary. And all of them work to the orders of ZANU-PF. But what we are saying is that we do have a God, and that there is an end to everything. And in Shona they say, Chisingaperi chinoshura. So everything that happens has an end date. Dictatorship falls. So I think there's some sound coming from Sissy Babs. Dictators fall. If you think back to what has happened, would you like to go on mute, Sissy Babs? Would you like to mute yourself? Okay. All right. Let me see if I can mute her. Yeah, there we are. So I was talking about dictators and saying that if we look at the history of dictators, what we have seen over the years is that dictators do fall. And so we know that, Zimbabwe has been enslaved for the last 42 years by a callous and cruel dictatorship. When we had independence in 1980, for some of us who were, I guess, much older at the time, that made a lot of people that were born in the 80s. So I think those born in the 80s never really did see the Zimbabwe that we saw in the first 5 to 8 years. It was an amazing country. It had so much promise. And what we didn't know was that the regime was siphoning money. And also what we didn't know was that they were a murderous dictatorship that were hell-bent on holding on to power forever. And we saw what happened with Gukra and they lied about Gukra and they went and slaughtered 20,000 innocent people. And to date, no one has ever been held accountable for that. And they need to answer for that. And so that set the course for the next 42 years. We have seen disappearances, people being abducted, people dying, the bloody 2008 elections where people were just slaughtered. And that hasn't stopped. And, blood is just dripping everywhere in Zimbabwe. This regime has blood on its hands. And as a Zimbabwean people, we're very accommodating, I think. I think we are kind in that there hasn't been an uprising that we see in other countries when people have had enough. And what we've seen in the current political movement, the president of the CC movement is very much a man who believes in doing things in the right way, who believes in the constitutional way of attaining power. And his description is that the CC is not a violent party and that we will attain power through the ballot box. And it's possible to do that if many of us go and vote. And I know a lot of people in the diaspora who are going to be traveling down in 2023 to go and cast their vote. And so we appeal to the young people, those that have turned 18, to participate, to go and register to vote, because this is about your future as young people. And we saw what happened in Zambia. Zambia was delivered from the previous administration because of young people. They went and voted in their millions. The young people organized themselves because they'd had enough. And I think that's what we want to see for Zimbabwe. There's also an appeal to parents and guardians. If you have 18-year-olds in the house, educate them, raise awareness, get them IDs, go and get them registered to vote, and then help them to go and vote when it comes to the day. And so I want to say thank you so much to all of you, the audience, for having spent this nearly 1.5 hours with us on Change Radio, just listening to some of our perspectives as Change Radio, and just hearing from you and reading some of your amazing comments, and the realization that the majority of us are based in the diaspora, and that we are here mainly for the majority of us having left poverty, fled and left the gross human rights violations that are perpetrated against people with dissenting voices. So I want to thank you. And I ask you, please, to now join us on Twitter Spaces, the CC Diaspora, where we are going to be there overnight. We're going to be pungwe on there as we wait to ring in the results. So God bless you. God bless Zimbabwe. And see you when we are back here another time. Thank you. Bye bye. There is a comment there. I want to read it before I go. Um, Cohen says, Viva CCC, come 2023. God help us to cross over and bless our enemies to come and witness us. Amen and amen. God bless you all and God bless Zimbabwe. And we look forward to celebrating later in the early hours of this morning. Bye, viewers. Have a good evening, a good morning, a good afternoon, wherever you are.